Volcanic eruptions are seriously awesome events, but you'd have to travel a seriously long distance if you wanted to go see one. And when it went off, you would want to be a long distance away from it when it blew its top. So I'm going to build you guys a really awesome mini volcano so that we can get in closer for a much better look. I'm going to build my volcano out of water and some builder's putty. So some volcanoes are extinct, which means they haven't gone off in a very long time, and they're unlikely to ever go off again. Other volcanoes are dormant, which means they're pretty much sleeping. They haven't gone off in a long time, but scientists aren't sure when they're going to go off again. Other volcanoes, the more exciting volcanoes, are active volcanoes, which means they go off frequently and they'll pop their tops. So right now I'm just mixing water with my plaster powder, and I'm going to stir it up until I get the right consistency that I need in order to actually mold a volcano out of it. You have to work kind of fast because plaster dries really, really fast. Right now, our plaster is just about the way that we want it. I can pick it up and it runs a little bit, but it's still kind of thick. At this point, we can actually start packing it to our bottle and building the shape of our volcano. And the best thing is, because the putty is a little bit fluid, it flows like a liquid, it'll actually give the shape of lava flowing. So what we'll end up with is a volcano that actually looks like it's made out of multiple eruptions of lava. So this one's actually going to take a while to dry. So here's one I made earlier. So this little baby is an active volcano, and I'm going to make it erupt real soon. So of course, this isn't a real volcano. So what I'm going to do is mix two chemicals together that'll make a really awesome reaction that's going to mimic the real thing. Now, I'm an expert and a scientist, so I'm allowed to do this. However, you should not try this at home. So for safety, I have my gloves on, I have a lab coat, and I have my safety goggles. I also have a fire extinguisher on hand just in case we need it. All right, are you guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, fire in the hole. Oh, yeah. Woo! That was so cool. I'm going to do it again, but this time in slow-mo. Wasn't that awesome? This is why I love geology. However, this is not exactly how volcanoes work. Actually, the Earth has a thick, hard crust, much like the crust that you get on a loaf of bread. And on this crust is where we live and where mountains are built. However, underneath that crust is a lot of molten hot rock called magma, or as you may know it as lava when it's shot out of a volcano. So Earth's hard crust is actually made up of plates, and these are called tectonic plates. And often, volcanoes form on the boundaries between these plates where the crust is weak. So the weak points between two plates is where lava will spew out of Earth's crust. So I bet no one else on the Get Clever team can beat that.
Hi, I'm Carmen, summer sports scientist here at the AIS. So what is fitness? Well, specifically aerobic fitness is your body's ability to use the oxygen around you for energy, and specifically with your muscles. So the fitter you are, the faster you can run and the longer you can run and just play outdoors. So here at the AIS, it's really common for us to just measure the fitness of our athletes. And a popular way that we do that is with the beep test. Okay, so today we're going to be running the beep test here with a couple of our basketball athletes and one of the Get Clever team members. So this is Nathan. Guys, Nathan.
Nice to meet you guys. What's up? What's up? I feel like I'm at a slight disadvantage, you know, longer legs, shorter legs.
All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to start on this line here. You guys have to run to that line there by the time the beep goes, turning around and running straight back, and it's continuous until we can't go on anymore.
3, 2, 1. Start level 1, 1. Level 1, 2.
Got such long legs.
So a beep test is getting an athlete to run between two cones that are 20 metres apart. And they have to do it to a recording that we have. Every time the level goes up, it gets a little bit faster. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to stay in the test, keeping up with that for as long as they can until they get too exhausted. So from this, we can tell how fit the athlete is, and then we can decide what we have to do to get them fitter.
Hey, Carmen. I had to drop out. Those guys are still going, but how do you think I went?
I think you did really well, considering these guys are elite athletes, but I think you did pretty good.
And what's the highest level of the test?
The beep test actually goes to level 20, which is really high, but no one ever gets that, so don't worry, you did pretty well.
And those basketballers, how far would they get in the beep test?
They probably get to around level 12 or 13 usually.
That was like the peak of my basketball career, 12 or 13 years old. And what's one sport you have to be really fit for?
So if you're really, really aerobically fit, you're probably going to be a cross-country skier.
Wow, cross-country skiers. Well, thanks so much, Carmen. I'm just going to take a seat right here. Hey.
Do you struggle with even the simplest of tasks? Sometimes things just aren't the right side up. They're inside out and the wrong way around. And cleaning up your mess only makes it worse. If you identify with any of these, then I've got the solution for you. I've got some handy science household hacks that'll make sure you are never left looking silly again. Did you know that eggs can tell us a thing or two about physics? Physics isn't just something you learn about at school. Physics is a study of forces, and those forces are acting on everything around us all the time. Now, if I crack an egg with my bare hands, I can look really strong if I squash it in the middle, like this.
Come on, Vache. You can do it.
Okay, maybe like this.
Come on, Vache. Hurry up.
You know why it's not working? Because I'm applying constant pressure all over the egg. Let's see if I can change that. Last and final go. Yes.
Such a strong dude.
But if you hold your egg end to end, you won't stand a chance, no matter how strong you are.
Come on.
Let's try again.
Come on, man. Try harder.
No, I just can't do it.
Boo. Give me a go.
Vache, why isn't it working? Well, none of us can break it because the force we're applying, the pressure, is absorbed really well by rounded surfaces. Think of things like bridges or the archway of doors. Their rounded shape is the reason why they're so strong. But everything has a limit to the force it can take. And in the case of our egg, that limit is the lowest and the shell the weakest, where it is the flattest, which is why it's best to crack an egg in the middle. But even the round ends have their limit too. That was exciting. Let's see that cracker again, but this time in slow-mo. Now I know where to crack my egg, at the egg equator. But seriously, let's try a few different methods to see which one gives us the cleanest crack. Not bad? Not bad. And a final one on the bench. I'm happy with that crack. Now that you've created a fracture, you'll get the cleanest break by applying equal pressure to both sides of the egg so that the eggshell expands and reaches critical crack length. If you've made a clean enough break, then you won't get shell in your egg. And that's what I call extraordinary physics. And that's no yoke.
Right there, good touch sort of night nodding.
Good nod.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Heavy and action.
Inside our bodies, we have both positive and negative charges. But what happens when negative meets negative? I'm here with Joel, and we're gonna find out.
Excellent. So, when two charges that are the same meet each other, they repel each other. And there's a few ways we can demonstrate this. We'll start with negative. I've got two balloons here. We're just gonna do a bit of a static electricity demo.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna get you to do for me is I'm gonna charge these up, and I'll just get you to hold on to those for a second. All right? Now, because these are both negative, they're gonna repel each other, and they'll repel my little bit of packing tape here. So we call this the flying jellyfish demo. So if you hold one of them in each hand, I'll throw this up in the air, and you need to try and keep those balloons under my jellyfish. Huh. There you go. Now, because you're a very positive person, full of all these wonderful positive charges, our negatively charged little flying jellyfish, while it's repelled from other negative things, it's attracted to positive things like us. So similar charges repel, opposite charges attract. Charged them too well. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well done. Now, be careful. It's going to be attracted to anything with a positive charge, like your arm.
All right. Okay, so what's happening is the balloons and the jellyfish are negatively charged, so they repel each other. Is that right?
Yeah, they push each other away.
So what happens if two things are positively charged?
So it's actually the exact same thing. Two positive charges will push away from each other, just like two negative charges will. And we can demonstrate that using the Van de Graaff generator.
Okay.
Do you want to give it a go?
Kind of.
Yeah, all right. So how this works is we've got a little bit of a motor in here. We've got a latex band, and we've got this metal dome at the top. The latex band spins around really quick thanks to the motor. That builds up a big static charge inside here. We're going to put that static charge inside you and make you an even more positive person.
Okay.
Do you want to give it a go? Now, can you stand up on there? So now we've insulated you from the rest of the Earth, so the charge will stay in you. Now, what I'm going to get you to do is put your hand nice and flat on top of here. Excellent. While your hand is on there, the charge will travel from here into your body. If you move your hand away, a spark might jump, it might zap you, so don't do that. Just keep your hand there until I tell you it's time to hop off. Now, so we can demonstrate something moving, I'm going to get you to hold on to some pie tins for me.
Sure.
So put this in your other hand and just hold that a bit further out. Perfect. Now, I'm going to charge you and the pie tins positive at the same time. And when you're all positive, that means you're all going to push away from each other. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. All right, now we're charging you. So positive charge is going into your body. Do you feel weird?
Not just yet.
All right, I'm going to speed it up a bit.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, oh, there we go. So you and those tins are all positively charged, and so you're all pushing away from each other. So when it's time to get you off the machine, what I'll do is I'll count down from 3, and then you take your hand off the machine and jump back off the safety step at the same time. I will come in with my wand here, which is connected back into the power network, which is connected to the Earth. The Earth is really, really good at soaking up excess charge. So instead of a spark leaping out to your hand, it's going to leap onto this. And of course, that means nobody gets hurt. So, are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, jump! Well done.
All right. Okay, so my positivity made the pie tins fly, is that right?
Absolutely. Your positivity and their positivity together can do amazing things.
So all things are a little bit positive and a little bit negative?
Absolutely.
And you can charge them either way?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Joel.
Not a problem. My pleasure.
All right.
I love
up making a grand entrance. And is there a better way than climbing down a rocky surface and heroically landing? I didn't think so. But to achieve my show-stopping entrance, I have to learn how to abseil. Abseiling involves ascending down a rock using a harness so you don't fall. It's a super fun activity and a popular way to rock climb. Hi, Casey.
Hello, are you ready?
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous. Should we get started?
Yeah, let's do this.
How does abseiling work?
So basically, it just works on friction. So the friction of the rope going through the figure of 8, like that's on your harness, and then the friction on the side of your harness as well. So your hand is holding the rope behind your back, and basically you loosening and tightening your grip is depending on how much rope you're letting through. And then that way, the friction is either getting stronger or not so much through the figure of 8, and then your weight is just making it move down the cliff. I want you to move your feet too, okay?
So what's the first thing you do before you abseil?
Is check that your harness is done up nice and tight, your helmet's on nice and tight, and that way you're all good to start abseiling. The next thing you want to make sure you do is that you're attached into the safety nice and tight so it's all safe, and then you can head out to the abseil and then your guide will take it from there and obviously direct you down the cliff.
Awesome. And what tools are involved?
So basically the only tools we really use is just the figure of 8s, like that's on your harness, the carabiners itself, and then our abseiling device, which we call an ATC. So it's just an ascending device that we use to lock you guys off if anything happens.
Why do you have to lean back when you abseil?
It's just to make you feel safe. So obviously when you were going, you could tell if you leant forward, it wasn't tight, and then you felt a bit uncomfortable. So leaning back into the system makes it nice and tight, helps you feel safe, and it's also just the proper technique. So that way you can get over the cliff nice and easily with no hassles.
How do you know it's safe?
Us guides come up and we obviously set it up in the mornings. Before the abseil, we check it, we go over it a billion times, making sure we're happy with it. We check the knots, make sure they're dressed correctly for how we learn how to do it. Check that all the carabiners are done up nice and safe and tight. And then, if we're happy to abseil on it ourselves, then generally it means it's pretty safe for you guys.
I assume a lot of people get really scared, like me. How do you talk them through it?
I basically just try and stay calm. I generally try and make them focus on something else, like pointing out the figure of 8 and the rope so they have a focal point to focus on. Otherwise, I just kind of be goofy and make them like laugh and take their mind off it. But generally, I just try and stay nice and calm and just keep talking to them nice and calmly so that they feel safe and are happy to keep going.
Well, it was very helpful.
Thank you.
But if I just let go, what stops me from dropping?
Well, that's where I come in. So I'm up the top and I've got you on belay. So all I have to do is just pull up on that rope and that's going to stop you. So that's what the belay device is up the top for. It's basically there as an extra safety. So if anything does happen to you, I can just lock you off and then you'll be 100% safe. You can readjust and then we can get ready to go again.
What's the first thing you should always do before you abseil?
So basically the first thing you want to do is check your harness, make sure it's done up nice and tight, you've got no twists in it, everything's nice and safe to go. The other thing is you want to check that your helmet is done up nice and tight, it's not going to fall off, and then you're all sweet. The other thing you want to do is just check that you've attached into safety, your carabiner screwed up, and that way you're all sweet to go and the guide will take it from there.
What are some handy pointers to remember?
Always keep your feet about shoulder width apart. That way you're always going to have a stable, hold with your feet. And also always make sure your feet are flat on the wall as you're abseiling. That way, you're going to be able to step nice and easy and not slip. The other thing to remember is keep that hand nice and tight behind your back. That way it helps friction off your side so that it's not so much strain on your hand. And the other thing is, to just have fun and enjoy.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Casey. I think I'm ready to give it another go now.
Awesome. Let's go do it.